Well, John, the Fugue, very impressive visually in the Musidora. What did you make of her run there?
Well, I think, as everybody probably knows, it was the first major meeting we started on good ground. And I think you find a lot of horses will really get their form now. I think it was a truly run race. They liked the second a lot. They backed her in the favourite. The third had won an Elgwin. Didn't like the really heavy hit Goodwood. But she's done it fine. She's come out the race well. She was starting to run back awfully quickly. And her mother stayed, so there's every reason to go there feeling she really deserves her place.
Do you think it was a step up on her Guineas Fourth?
Yeah, the Guineas is hard to judge because the winner thought she was running on good to firm to fast. And she's gone and won by 9, light frame fast little filly, and she's gone and run 2 seconds faster than the Colts did in the 2000 Guineas. So it was a little bit, it was testing difficult ground. Some of them handled it, some of them didn't. We had that rather unfortunate delay at the start. But she ran a nice race and got struck into. She ran a very good race, in fact. So I was happy with it. It was a run at home, but it was quicker than coming back than I wanted to. But you got no choice because the season is like this, and then there's a big gap to Ascot.
And stepping up to 1.5 miles, do you think that might bring about a bit more improvement?
I mean, I think that's a 1 mile, 2.5 run at a solid pace. I think she had the run of the race, just tucked in behind the leaders. But she's got a high cruising speed, and there's every reason to assume that. As long as they handle the track, and as long as it's not too rough, and as long as it doesn't rain too much, she would not want that.
And you've had fillies placed in this race the last couple of years, Gertrude Bell and Izzy Top. Would she compare favourably with them?
Izzy Top didn't stay. She's a 1.25 mile filly, as she's proven this year. She didn't stay. Gertrude got a bad draw, and I think in hindsight we made too much use of her. But this filly has a high cruising speed, which is what you want round here. But I'd be most concerned about something you can do nothing about, really 2 things, the weather and the roughness of the race.
Who do you feel is the one you have to beat in the race?
I think I have to beat that as much as anything. But of Aiden's, funny enough, I like that filly Kissed a lot. I think she's a very nice filly. And I know maybe, again, she ran a lovely race. She was in front of us in the Guineas. But I got the feeling we didn't have a great trip. And to that extent, I'd probably be more looking to Kiss. But there's a lot of nice fillies in there. It's a very contentious race, A lot of nice fillies who'll stay well. I think it's a pretty smart oaks.
I think I'm pretty certain she will stay. But it's always it has to be a small question mark, obviously.
And what about the ground?
She wouldn't want it too soft, But I don't, with the forecast looking as it is, you'd be quite confident that the ground would be, good to firm ground. So it should be perfect for everybody.
And you think she'll handle the track?
Yeah, I hope she will. You never know until they go on it. So, but I think she travels well. She's quite an agile filly, so I hope she will. But at the same time, I'm pretty confident that she will.
Vow is drifting towards the stand side. Apothecary runs on well, so too Kalima. Vow is still very green, but she's got all the ability in the world. Kalima is staying on strongly, but Vow, with a ground-devouring stride, goes on to win the Oaks Trial.
Well, William, you've had 2 runners in Epsom Classics so far, both won. What chance of making it 3 with Vow?
Well, I don't know. It's a record that can only go one way, and that's downhill. So I hope she'll run a good race anyway. We'll see.
And she's done nothing wrong at all this season.
No, not really. No, she's improving, or appears to be improving, and she's a very charming filly, handy filly, stays well. I think is very genuine. So she's got a lot of things in her favour.
And what did you make of her run at Lingfield?
Yeah, I was quite impressed with her. I thought she travelled well and picked up when he asked her, stayed well. Swerved about a bit, but Johnny didn't seem too fussed, so I'm not. And I think he was suitably impressed, and I was quite impressed visually.
And she showed a bit of inexperience that day. Has she sort of come on for that run?
Well, it's very difficult to judge, but she will have done because, naturally as they improve for racing. So she doesn't do a lot at home, so it's going to be very difficult for me to judge it. But I think she's in good shape, so I'm quite happy at the moment.
And you won the race last year with Dancing Rain. How would this filly compare?
Similar. Don't do a lot at home. I mean, Dancing Rain, we've never had so many people taking photographs, films, cameras and all sorts of things. So obviously somebody thinks she's got a chance, but Dancing Rain obviously had no hope because we never saw one human being from any newspaper or TV company at all before the race. We saw a few after, so she must have a chance judge on that.
And what about the ground for Val?
I wouldn't want it soft, but it's not going to be soft, so I think she's better on quicker ground. So
yeah, she's a very exciting filly. She's got that incredible turn of foot, which you don't see very often. We saw it at Newbury in the last 100 yards or so of that race. You think, crikey, she's gone from sort of dossing and getting through the field, and then suddenly, bam, she picks up. And we saw the same thing at Lingfield, quickened twice, but you still look at that race, you think, crikey, we haven't seen this filly at full throttle yet. And so we hope that the wrinkles have been ironed out with that little bit of jinking right and jinking left, and that with a good long straight in front of her and Johnny Murta in the saddle, that I think we'll see a pretty special filly. Again, the few Madeline Lloyd-Webber's filly looks very, very good. But to be honest, I'd stick with our filly. I think she's a bit special.
And mentally, do you think she has come on a lot since Lingfield?
Yeah, she's no question. I mean, she's come on, and you'd love to have had another race, ideally. When you see that, you think, I'd like to have got one more race, one more run into her. But we couldn't run her as a 2-year-old. She was too immature, really immature jointed. The top part was fine, but just needed time for her joints to settle, which is very typical of her half-brothers Beaten Up and Harris Tweed, that William Haggis also trained for his father Brian, who bred Vow as well. So she's fine now. She's in great shape. Huge improvement to come with this filly, and I think the syndicate have a great chance on Friday.